What is the dumbest 100% serious thing someone has said to you? Here in the UK we get a lot of American kids shows, especially big ones like SpongeBob, Animaniacs, etc. These shows normally have a 4th of July special about the Declaration and War of Independence point with that as the topic of conversation. This is genuinely a discussion I had with someone when we were 14. Me, The Simpsons made a joke about that during episode about the 4th of July. I forget the name of, friend. Yeah, I watched that one. The British sound like dicks me. Slow blink come again, friend. You know, the British. The guys they always talk about when they do that kinda specials. I bet we could take them. Me. Daniel, what country do we live in, friend? England. Q very quick explanation of British geography, with Daniel refusing to believe he was British until he went home and asked his mum. Edit. Holy shit, I had no idea this thread would explode like it has, especially granted I posted late. For those not sure about the difference between the UK, Great Britain, England, English and British, including any other Daniels out there, here's a vid which clears it up nicely. Some people have also called bullshit saying nobody could be that stupid unless there are other factors. For an explanation of how he ended up so oblivious, here it is. It's actually a bit. This happened last night at the bar I work at. I get a ticket for 2 Chardonnay, one with ice alrighty, one with ice, one as it's supposed to be. There we go. 3 minutes later in storms this lady with 2 wine glasses in her hand. Look at this, she says, and somewhat slams the glasses onto the bar. I'm a little in shock that the glasses didn't break and did as told. I looked at the glasses. Yes, 1 Chardonnay with ice, one without. What's the matter, ma'am? I ask. Why did she get more wine? She asks annoyed. More wine? I ask. There's not more in either one. Both have 120 milliliters exactly, right as it's supposed to be. Would you like some ice too? But that one is filler. And she points at the one with ice. Yes, it has ice in it. I reply. Why does she get more wine with the ice? Why don't I get more wine? Look, this one has that much more wine. Showing the difference between the glasses by pinching her fingers. Well, you get where this is going. The lady didn't understand that if you fill 2 glasses of wine and add ice into one, the ice will make it look like it's filler, but that's just because the ice takes up space. I had to literally show her that it was just the ice making it look like the glass is filler, which it of course was, but not with more wine. Even then I think she still though she was being mistreated. If you staple a horse to a waterfall, will it fall up under the rainbow or fly about the soil? Will he enjoy her experience? What if the staple tears into tears? Will she be free from her staply chains or doomed to stay forever and ever above the water? Who can save him? The horse, but someone of girth and worth, the capitalist pig, who will sell the solution to the problem he created. A staple remover flies to the rescue, carried on the wings of majestic penguin who bought it at Walmart for $9 and several more euro cents, clutched in its crabby claws, rejected from its frothy maw. When the penguin comes, all tremble before its fishy stench and weep like abjecture, recoil in delirium, ye who wish to be free. The mighty Rockapper is here to save your soul from eternal bliss and salvation. And so, the horse was free, carried away by the south wind, and deposited on the vast plain of soggy dew. It was a tragedy in several parts, punctuated by moments of hedonistic horsefuckery. The owls saw all, and passed judgment in the way that they do. Stupid owls are always judging folks who are just trying their best to live shamelessly and enjoy every fruit the day brings to pass. How many more shall be caught in the terrible gyre of the waterfall? As many as the gods deem necessary to teach those foolish monkeys a story about their own hamburgers. What does a monkey know of bananas, anyway? They eat, pup, and shave away the banana residue that grows upon their chins and bowel sacs. The owls judge their razors. Always the owls, and when the one-eyed caterpillar arrives to eat the glazing on your window pane, you will know that you're next in line to the trombone of the ancient realm of the flutterbies. Beware the ravenous ravens and crowing crows. Mind the cowing cows and the lying lions. Ascend triumphant to your birthright, and wield the mighty twig of Petalonia, favored land of gods and goats alike. I had a Marine private first class tell me that the Marines don't have tanks, while I was a marine tanker from a detachment, which was tasked with teaching infantry/tank integration. For fact's sake, I could literally see our tanks not far from where we were standing. Edit. Oh, I remembered another stupid thing. Before I moved to England, a kid in my class, 8th grade, told me that it was technically illegal to do so, because I didn't speak English. We are both American. Maybe he gets a pass for his stupidity, because he was young at the time, but damn was that dumb. He also thought that Japan dropped an atomic bomb on Pearl Harbor because he saw the preview for the movie Pearl Harbor, which featured a behind the bomb shot of the crippling blow dealt to the US Arizona. His justification was that he thought that only atomic bombs dropped like that. I guess conventional bombs just float about until they make contact with something. I also told him that the Civil War was fought between the American South and Canada. I told him that the American North was neutral, which resulted in him arguing with our history teacher about it. I guess I'm grasping at low-hanging fruit here. Second edit. Drunk edit. While teaching tank/infantry integration, I gave a lecture on the strengths and limitations that tanks have, and how cooperation between infantry and tanks could better ensure mission accomplishment, and then had my guys familiarize an infantry company with the tanks, letting them crawl all over a tank. This saw gunner approached me and, without any self-awareness, explained to me that he has more tactical utility than a tank because he is mobile. I guess a tank's array of specialized optics, enhanced communication abilities, amazing armor, overground mobility, machine guns, that Coaxial M240 will shred you at great distances, and my .50 would do even better, and Begaz 120mm main gun, which could fire an array of specialized rounds. Some of them accurate over several kilometers, isn't as deadly as that one baby-faced lance corporal with his saw. If only that was the only time we even ran into staff NCOs who were so in love with their weapon systems that they'd make claims such as they could take out an M101 with their MK19 40mm automatic grenade launcher. My gunner almost got into a fist fight with a sergeant who thought his HMMWV/Humvee with their MK19 could kill our tank. We'd see them from miles away and be able to engage a target like that far before we would be within their weapon system's range. Even then, 40mm grenades wouldn't really do shit to a tank. I pacified the situation, but I kind of wanted to see my hulk of a gunner beat that annoying snot of a sergeant into the side of his stupid HMMWV. Now I'm just typing to tell stories because I'm drunk and waiting on brisket to get finished. Sorry. I'm a lab tech that works in microbiology. I often find myself explaining to nurses and even doctors why they won't be getting their cultures stat. The phone call usually goes like this: "Nurse, I ordered this blood culture over 2 hours ago. You guys are required to give us stat results in an hour. I want my results and an explanation." Me: "Sir/ma'am, we have no control over how quickly bacteria grows. Cultures can be ordered to be delivered to the lab stat, but we can only work on it as quickly as the bacteria lets us." Nurse: "It sounds to me like you just don't want to work. I'll be writing a patient safety report. What's your name?" Me: "It's very common for nurses to act shitty towards lab techs for things that are either directly their fault or things we otherwise have zero control over. Every time a nurse pulls the oh my god, I'm a nurse, I'm a hero, give me everything I want, because you're human garbage routine." I keep my cool by remembering that these people think the lab has magic bacteria powder that can help us give an ID and antibiotic sensitivities on a swab in less than an hour. Disclaimer before people jump down my throat with the "but nurses are superheroes that are perfect human beings that cheat sunshine and love" rhetoric. I'm by no means saying all nurses are like that. Many are very sweet and kind and accept responsibility for their mistakes. However, there is a very notable portion of nurses that take the whole hero worship thing our culture gives them and use it as an excuse to shit all over everyone in the hospital once they leave your bedside. Anyone that works in an ancillary service can tell you a million whole nurse stories. Again, I recognize there are lots of amazing nurses out there, but dear god, there's also lots of shitty nurses. 2. Irrelevant note, just a bit of advice for nurses. Be nice to your lab techs. When I worked the front desk in the lab, I would go to the ends of the earth to help a nurse that treated me like a human. When we call and need a red row, because you drew the wrong tube, or because it clotted / hemolyzed / whatever, ask us what might have went wrong, so you can learn to avoid that in the future. Oftentimes it's just something small in your phlebotomy routine that's causing problems. Nurses seem to think we do that cheat to their samples to get out of working, but it's always more work for us to call you guys, knowing we are gonna get cheat on about it, and have to document it. TLDR of whole post. Nurses think we can grow and ID bacteria in an hour. Many nurses are awesome, they don't all suck. Nurses, be nice to lab techs and we will do everything we can for you. No one will notice this, but I really have to share. I worked as a lifeguard in upstate New York at a small lake. Most of the patrons were from the city and pretty unfamiliar with the country. Anyway, I had an adult female ask me, "Excuse me sir, is this a river?" Or, "There are signs literally every 50 yards that read Lake Welsh." So I said, "No ma'am, there's a lake." To which she replied, "Oh okay, so this ain't the Atlantic Ocean or nothing." She was 100% serious, and keep in mind you can see cars on the other side of the lake about 2 miles away. Second, another patron asked if it was safe to go in the water. There were hundreds of people already swimming when he asked. I said yes, and asked him why. He said, "Oh, I was just wondering if you got all that oil cleaned up." I said, "Oil? You mean the BP oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico?" "Yeah, that one." "Oh, we got that cleaned up just in time for the weekend." Or at the pool I also worked at that had a zoo next door, I saw a woman freaking out and slapping herself in the face yelling, "OM God, there's a bee. It escaped from the zoo, it escaped from the zoo." Great place. Lots of riots and grown-as men jumping into 12-foot deep water knowing full well they can't faking swim. Handmade a set of foam larping arrows to use in my university's annual game of humans vs zombies. It was my 4th time participating, and every year my loadout kept getting lighter and lighter because I realized running was the best way to stay alive. Mods tested the arrows on me to make sure they were safe and played their use for the game. A couple hours into the game, after a few satisfying long-range kills, I get zombified. After running a raid with a few other zombs, a girl approaches me and starts yelling at me for my arrows being unfair and painful and that I shouldn't be allowed to use them. I explained that the mods okayed them and I was shot with all 6 homemade arrows point blank to ensure they were safe. She responds with, "Well, you're a guy. Guys can just take that sort of stuff. You shouldn't be shooting it at girls because they just can't handle it as well as guys." I just said I had a female friend help me make and test them, and she said they were fine as well, jokingly adding that I know a lot of girls that can handle it, and that her saying that all girls can't was kinda sexist. Immediately she goes off on me with the unforgettable line of, "I'm not sexist. How can I be sexist? I'm a woman. You can't be sexist against men," adding how her boyfriend was going to fight me and how I should be banned from playing. Everyone in the raid team kinda just looked at her as we were all running and laughed. TLDR, don't shoot zombie girls unless you're a sexist pig that hates all women. Pig 1. All 100% real from the same idiot. I save them in notes in my phone. You know how Michael Jackson made himself white? What if Christina Aguilera turned herself black? Jeff, do you know why bugs always fly close to our face? No. Why? I don't know. Just thought you might point. Why do all cars have different names, like Ford, Chevy, trucks etc., but we just call them cars? I find it funny that us human can drive instantly. I never heard of any animals driving. Humans can do a lot. The biggest irony about driving is there's always someone in your lane. The pedal in Kim's car seems higher because every time I wear my sandals it gets stuck underneath. Wouldn't it be cool if they put little straps on men's ties so you could hang your sunglasses on them? You know water is like a brick if you jump into it from too high. Did you know bears have 2 hearts? So if you shoot it in the chest it will still keep coming at you. Did you know that California used to be a desert? Think of dogs barking. Does a dog hurt your feelings when it barks at you? No, but words can hurt if you listen to them. Our government has been trying to take video games out of the hands of honest hard-working citizens. This will kill the economy.